Part 130. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1291. Chapter 1291. Do you want to know what happened back then? Chen, originally there were some things that your brother-in-law and I didn't want to tell you, for fear that you would be sad if you heard about it. However, my sister just wants you to be safe now, and nothing else matters. So, even if what happens next you will be sad to hear this, but I still want you to know the truth. Qiao Chen, sister, what do you want to tell me? Qiao Mian looked at the thin and handsome young man in front of her, her eyes falling on his pale and sick face, her eyes showing distress. Her Chen, why did she have to suffer so much? She would rather the Mo family had not discovered Qiao Chen. I would rather Qiao Chen always be just an ordinary person. She has never expected to live a rich and noble life. To her, it is more important than anything else for the two of them to be safe and healthy for the rest of their lives. Little people also have their happiness. No matter how rich and powerful the Mo family was, it would not be a good place to go if it brought danger to her Chen. Chen, do you want to know what happened back then? Qiao Mian took a deep breath, held his hand and asked softly, about your parents and why you were sent to the orphanage. If you want I know, I'll tell you. Qiao Chen was stunned for a few seconds. Does he want to know? Of course he did. Ever since he learned that his biological parents were other people, he wanted to know what happened back then. No one would want to know their true life experience. After being silent for a moment, he nodded. Okay, then I'll tell you. Qiao Mian collected her thoughts and said, back then, your mother was diagnosed with cancer during a physical examination. She was in the middle and late stages of cancer. The doctor said that with good treatment, she could live for at most 1 year. Qiao Chen raised his head, with astonishment in his eyes. These things were also told by Mo Yesi to Qiao Mian. She felt very sad when she heard it. Your mother was born in a scholarly family, so she has always lived a regular life. After knowing that she had cancer and would leave this world soon, she wanted to indulge herself once before leaving. She traveled abroad and met your father in a hotel. At that time, your father was still single. I heard that your mother was extremely beautiful, and your father almost fell in love with her at first sight. You should also know some of the things that happened next. They were together and spent a wonderful time abroad. Your father planned to take her back and formally introduce her to his family, but your mother chose to leave without saying goodbye. She disappeared completely. Your father used many connections but could not find her. Later, the Mo family arranged a well-matched marriage for your father. Your father could not find your mother, so he gave up and accepted it. That marriage. Not long after he got married, he finally found out the whereabouts of your mother. When he rushed over, your mother had just given birth to you, and she was lying on the bed dying. Your father saw her for the last time, and then you brought it back to the Mo family. When he said this, Qiao Mian looked up and found that Qiao Chen's eyes were red. The young man clenched his fists tightly and his eyes were red. He was trying not to let the tears fall, but his eyes were already moist. Qiao Mian held his hand tightly. Your father loves you very much. He caused such a thing outside and took you back. This is a violation of the Mo family's family rules. Anyone who violates the family rules will be punished. Accept punishment. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1292. Chapter 1292. I've thought it over carefully. I'm going back to Mo's house. At that time, the next heir of the Mo family had not yet been decided. He had done something that was disgraceful to the family tradition and would be disqualified from being the heir. Your father gave up the competition for the heir in order to get you on the Mo family's genealogy. So Chen, in fact, your father, loves you very much. It's just that his wife can't accept you, so you were sent to an orphanage later. If you want to go back to the Mo family now, I'm afraid his wife won't be happy either. Chen, back then she hid your father's secrets and wanted someone to steal you, and she wanted to harm you. I'm afraid she will do the same thing now. Let people deal with you. Xiao Chen was silent for a while with red eyes. He slowly raised his head. He pursed his lips and spoke in a surprisingly calm voice, "Sister, so I must become strong now in order to protect myself, right? Chen, your brother-in-law said that she would be wary of you if you returned to the Mo family." Xiao Chen pursed his lips and remained silent for a few seconds before nodding, "Sister, I understand what you mean." Sister, a few seconds later, when Xiao Chen raised his head, there was something firmer in his eyes. "I've thought about it carefully. I'm going back to Mo's house." Xiao Mian hesitated at this time. "Have you really thought about it?" Chen, don't force yourself. Don't force it." Xiao Chen slowly raised the corners of his lips, but there was no smile in his eyes. The young man said with a hint of coldness in his clear voice, "Sister, in fact, I have already thought about it. The only way is to make myself better and better. The stronger I am, the better I can protect myself and you. I need an identity that can make me stronger. In this case, I will have a family member who can support you in the future. Sister, you know, I saw you suffered injustice at Mrs. Mo's place before, and I really so angry. But what could I do for you at that time? Mrs. Mo, you don't take me seriously at all. At that moment, I thought that I must work hard to become stronger in the future. One day, I will make sure that no one dares to look down on our siblings." Chen Xiao Mianmian's eyes were moist, and she was so moved that she wanted to cry. She didn't expect that Xiao Chen was willing to return to the Mo family because of her. He said that he wanted to protect her. Even if they are not biological siblings, so what? The relationship between them is already better than that of many biological siblings. Xiao Mian felt so warm and moved that she couldn't help but threw herself into Xiao Chen's arms, hugging her brother and crying, Chen, I don't need you to protect me. My sister just wants you to be well of. If you don't want to go back to the Mo family, then don't go back. Don't force yourself because of me. Sister, I don't feel forced." Xiao Chen was stunned for a moment, then stretched out his arms to hug Xiao Mian, touching her head as if comforting a child. "I have thought about it seriously for a long time, and I made this on my own. No one can force me to make a decision. Didn't you just say that my father loves me very much? I don't go back to be angry, so don't worry about me. Sister, I want to meet him alone." Asterisk. After meeting Xiao Chen, Xiao Mian told Mo Yesi his decision. After listening, Mo Yesi didn't show much surprise. Xiao Mian looked at him. "Did you already know that Chen would choose to return to the Mo family?" Mo Yesi curled his lower lip. Chen is a smart kid, he just made the choice he had to make. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1293. Chapter 1293. Mo Yesi, this childish ghost. I will tell the second uncle his request and ask the second uncle to arrange a meeting. In fact, the second uncle also thought about meeting him, and the father and son thought about this matter together. Mo Yesi, can I ask you a favor? Baby, why are you so polite to me? Mo Yesi frowned, as if he was dissatisfied. You and I still need to beg you. Okay then. Xiao Mian smiled and looked up at him. Can you do something for me? The man seemed to be a little satisfied now, nodded and said, you say it? Can you arrange a few more people to protect Chen? Chiao Mian still felt uneasy. I'm afraid that the second lady will take action in the past few days. Mo Yesi comforted her, don't worry, I have already made arrangements. They are all people who have been with me for many years, and they will definitely be able to protect Chen Chen. Hearing what he said, Chiao Mian felt relieved. She believed in Mo Yesi. Since he said it was no problem, it must be no problem. By the way, I'll go back and clean up later, then I have to go to city F. Chiao Mian thought of the WeChat message Bai Yisheng sent her, and told Mo Yesi that the crew would resume filming tomorrow. The man frowned, seemingly dissatisfied. Why so fast? Chiao Mian, it's not too soon, I've had so many days off. I hope I can start filming again soon. Did you know that the new male lead chosen by Brother by this time is Qin Han? Qin Han, it's super amazing. He has won 3 Best Actor awards in just 7 years since his debut. And he is also responsible for Traffic in the powerful group. He is good at acting and handsome. I like him very much. My previous dream was to work with him on a TV series, but I didn't expect. As Chiao Mian spoke, she felt that the temperature in the car suddenly dropped a lot. She turned her head in hindsight. Beside her, the man's handsome face was stained with displeasure. His dark eyes were half squinted, and he asked her in a dangerous voice, Qin Han? Do you like this actor very much? Your dream was to be with him. Act in a play together. Chiao Mian. She was very familiar with what Mo Yesi looked like when he was jealous. I just appreciate him. She just finished speaking, looking at the man's frown, and immediately added, I appreciate his acting skills. I only appreciate his work. Chiao Mian felt a headache. He will care about every male actor who works with her. Why is this man so stingy? There were so many female secretaries around him, and she didn't mind. Because she knew that it was impossible for him to have other thoughts about those female secretaries. Why can't he be more confident and trust her more? Well, it's just appreciation for work. Mo Yesi curled his lips, but the coldness on his body did not dissipate. There was a sour taste in his words. You just said he was handsome. Baby, how handsome is he? The man's slender fingers lifted her chin, raised it slightly, lowered his head and looked into her eyes. Do you think I am more handsome, or is he more handsome? Chiao Mian. Mo Yesi is such a childish ghost. Huh. Mo Yesi's handsome face came closer and magnified several times in front of her eyes. At close range, his eyes became deeper and more charming. Baby, answer me. Is he handsome, or is your husband handsome? Mo Yesi, you. Call me husband. The man squeezed her chin and ordered. Chiao Mian. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1294. Chapter 1294. Even if it's unreasonable, I still like it. She was a little dumbfounded. When this man is childish, he is really no different from a child. She regarded it as coaxing a child. After sighing secretly in her heart, she reached out to hold the man's dizzyingly handsome face, holding back a smile and said, Husband, in my heart, you are the most handsome. No one else can compare to you. Qin Han is just an idol, you are my husband, and your positions in my heart are different. So, you don't need to be jealous of Qin Han. He will never be able to compare with you. These words should have had an effect. Chiao Mian looked at the man's deep eyes and immediately smiled, and the cold air surrounding him gradually disappeared. In your opinion, I am the most handsome. Mo Yesi raised his eyebrows and raised the corners of his lips. Well, you are the most handsome. Chiao Mian nodded vigorously. No one can compare with you. He should be satisfied with this answer. Am I more handsome than Qin Han? What about Tu Yuli? Chiao Mian. He actually still remembers Tu Yuli. he is indeed a childish and stingy person. I'm not even as handsome as you. Didn't I say that you are the most handsome in my heart? But, you just said that Chin Han is your idol. The man was still very concerned about this. Why haven't you told me about this before? Women tend to have feelings of admiration for the objects of their worship. I don't know what Chin Han looks like or what kind of person he is. He will have to have someone check it out later. You didn't ask me either. Jiao Mian blinked with an innocent expression on her face. Mo Yesi, you don't still mind, do you? Chin Han is really just my idol, I just appreciate his acting skills. Nothing else. Don't be so stingy. Mo Yesi pursed his lips and said nothing. Jiao Mianmian's eyes flashed. She thought for a moment, raised her head, leaned towards his lips and pecked him gently, softened her voice and said coquettishly, "Is this okay, husband? I am going to work, and it is inevitable that there will be some problems at work. When you come into contact with the opposite sex, you can't just be jealous without being reasonable. You will also come into contact with women at work, didn't I say anything? I hope you mind." Mo Yesi pursed his lower lip again, looking at the delicate face of the girl in front of him that seemed not to be a real person. He suddenly felt a little depressed. Mian, I hope you are jealous, I hope you mind, I hope you can too make trouble with me like this. Even if it's unreasonable, I still like it. His little wife is too sensible and has almost never been jealous of anyone. He thought she would mind Shenro before, but she didn't. No man will like a woman who is unreasonable and troublesome all the time. But when he has reached a certain level of rationality, he will not be jealous of anything. This makes him sensible and suspicious of life. He would wonder if the reason why she is so sensible and calm is because she doesn't really care about him. So, he doesn't care if there are other women around him. In this relationship, he devoted himself wholeheartedly. But he didn't know what position he occupied in Jiao Mianmian's heart. Jiao Mianmian was stunned and looked at him blankly. If you are jealous and you quarrel with me, at least I will feel that you care about me. If you don't quarrel at all, I will feel that I have no weight in your heart, so I am not worth your quarrel. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1295. Chapter 1295. During that time, she saw a lot of things clearly. Jiao Mianmian's eyes showed a little bit of surprise. This is the first time Mo Yesi has said such words to her. She never knew that he actually thought so. She had always thought that due to the disparity in status between them, she was the more insecure one. After a moment of surprise, she hurriedly explained, "No, Mo Yesi, I believe in you. I don't want you to think that I am a woman who likes to make trouble unreasonably." He behaved so well that even if there were other women around him, she would not think randomly. She believed that he would not do anything wrong to her. She never thought that her trust would make him feel that she didn't care about him enough. "Sometimes, I really hope you don't believe me too much." Mo Yesi sighed softly. Jiao Mian wanted to say that it wasn't that she wasn't jealous. It's just that he doesn't have any vinegar for her to eat. He always stayed away from women. He had known Shenro for more than 20 years, but he didn't know how special he was to Shenro. The attitude is still indifferent. His behavior really made her feel relieved. "Okay. You are going to City F this afternoon." Mo Yesi also knew that some things cannot be rushed, so he did not continue the topic. Jiao Mian nodded. "Well, I'm going to report to the crew early tomorrow morning, so I have to go over and make preparations today." Mo Yesi raised his wrist and checked the time. "Let's have lunch together. After we finish, I'll go back with you to clean up. Then I'll take you to the airport." "Aren't you going to work?" Jiao Mian knew that he was busy at work and didn't want to delay his work. "Well, I won't go today. I'll go to the company to see you after I get you to the airport," Mo Yesi said as he made a phone call. Jiao Mian listened to him. I won't go to the company in the afternoon. If it's not a particularly important matter, you can just help me handle it. Documents that need to be handled by me personally should be sent to my email. Also, the afternoon meeting will be held by the Vice President. Host, send me the summary report after the meeting. The appointment at noon was also cancelled. I told Director Chen that I was not feeling well and would make an appointment another day. I'll keep it for the night, I'll let you know then. A few minutes later, Mo Yesi hung up the phone. Chiao Mian guessed that he had just called Wei Zheng. Can you really not go to the company? In fact, you don't need to send it to me. There is a driver at home, and the driver can just send it to me. Before Chiao Mian could finish her words, she was interrupted. Since I'm here, I can't let anyone send you off. Besides, you're going to another city soon, and I don't want to stay with my wife for a little longer. Chiao Mian. Before, she was worried about whether it would be bad if the two of them were separated for too long while she was filming in other places. Now, she has no worries about this at all. She was in F City before, and Mo Yesi ran to F City almost every day. There is no such thing as the so-called separation between the two of them that will affect their relationship. It was during that time that she saw a lot of things clearly. She saw clearly how important she was to Mo Yesi's heart, and how much this man cared about her. It was also during that time that her feelings for him grew a lot. Chiao Mian met the man's tender and doting gaze and said nothing more. In fact, she also wanted to stay with Mo Yesi for a while. Just afraid that it would affect his work. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1296. Chapter 1296. As a woman, I feel ashamed. Since he doesn't care, then what else does she have to care about? It's getting late. Think about what to eat for lunch. Mo Yesi reached out and touched her head. Think about whether there is anything you need to buy. After dinner, go to the mall and buy everything. Asterisk. Chiao Mian wanted to eat hot pot, but considering that Mo Yesi couldn't eat spicy food, he finally chose a restaurant with a lighter taste. After eating, she didn't have anything to buy, so the two of them went back directly. The servants were a little surprised when they saw Mo Yesi. After all, he rarely goes home during work hours. Later, a maid found out that Chiao Mian was flying to City F in the afternoon, and Mo Yesi came back with her to pack her luggage and send her off. She told the other maids enviously. Then he made all the maids envious. The young master is so kind to the young madam. Yes, the young master is also very busy at work. Before he was with the young madam, he often worked overtime in the company. Now that he is married and has the young madam, it feels like the young master's focus is no longer his work. Yes, the young master used to be a workaholic and rarely went home. And don't you think that since he was with the young madam, the young master's temper has become much better? No, it should be said that he has become a lot more humane. He is no longer as cold as before. To be honest, although the young master is very good looking, I used to be really afraid of him. It is said that the young master and Miss Shen are the best match, but I think the young master and the young madam are also a good match. At first, I thought that the young madam was not from a good background and was not a good match for the young master. But now I have changed my mind. I think it is not the case. A happy marriage must be a well-matched one. The young master and the young lady are fine. So, there is hope for us to marry into a wealthy family. But, stop dreaming. The young lady's background is not good enough, but do you have the good looks? If you don't have such good looks, it's better not to dream about having such a good life. If you grow up to be like the young lady, you are destined to be if you want to marry into a wealthy family. Family background is no longer very important. The maids were talking enthusiastically. Upstairs, Mo Yesi unscrewed Xiao Mianmian's suitcase, opened the wardrobe, and helped her pack her luggage. Men have been pampered since childhood, but their ability to take care of themselves is better than that of many ordinary people. He packed his luggage more professionally and carefully than Xiao Mianmian. Every piece of clothing folded into the suitcase was neat and tidy. Xiao Mianmian used to pack her luggage by herself, always putting clothes in it randomly. Looking at what Mo Yesi had packed for her, as a woman, she felt ashamed. She wanted to go over to help, but Mo Yesi pushed her aside. "I'll pack your luggage, so you don't have to worry about it. You can go get some of the skincare products you usually use, and I'll put them on for you." "Oh, okay." Xiao Mianmian obediently went to the bathroom and put away some of the skincare products and makeup she usually used. By the time she took these things over, Mo Yesi had already put away all her clothes. Including her small panties, they were neatly folded and stuffed in a corner. He took the skincare products from Xiao Mianmian and packed all his luggage within a few minutes. Xiao Mianmian couldn't help but sigh. "Mo Yesi, I feel that after marrying you, my life skills seem to have deteriorated more and more." End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1297. Chapter 1297. Mo Yesi, don't you mind? She was worried that if she had been favored by him for so long, she would become useless in the future. As long as this man is by her side, she doesn't need to do anything. Because he will do everything. Just marry me and enjoy your life. What other life skills are needed? Mo Yesi packed his luggage, stood up, slowly walked to her, stared down at her. "Baby, I really don't trust you. Go alone. I have found a new assistant for you who can take care of your daily life and protect you at critical moments." "Look for a new assistant." Xiao Mianmian was stunned for a moment. "Nana is very good, why should we replace her?" "It's not about replacing her." Mo Yesi touched her head. "It's about adding an assistant to you. She is a girl after all, and she won't be useful at critical moments." "I don't worry. The new assistant for you will be I need to work on self-defense so that I can feel more at ease." It seems that he was frightened by the incident of throwing acid last time. Afraid that something similar would happen to her again. Xiao Mianmian also did not refuse his kindness in order to reassure him. "Is the new assistant male or female?" she asked curiously. "Male." When Mo Yesi answered, there was no displeasure on his face, which made Xiao Mianmian feel a little strange. After all, the man next to her is jealous. Putting a male assistant next to her and spending time with her day and night, he actually doesn't mind at all. Isn't this too strange? It doesn't fit in with his usual style. Xiao Mianmian couldn't help but ask, "Mo Yesi, don't you mind?" Why? If you have a gay by your side, I have nothing to worry about." Xiao Mianmian. She knew it. The corner of her mouth twitched, and she couldn't help but ask again, "You didn't find a gay specifically, did you?" Mo Yesi looked at her calmly and nodded in recognition. "Yes. Honey, when do you think I will be generous enough to let a normal man be by my wife's side and not worry about her being coveted?" Xiao Mianmian. Very good, this is in line with his usual style. Find her a male assistant, specifically a gay. Although Xiao Mianmian felt speechless, from another perspective, she thought it was a good thing. At least, this can stop her jealous family from being jealous. Asterisk. After packing his luggage, Mo Yesi sent Xiao Mianmian to the airport. Before leaving, I felt reluctant to leave again. Mo Yesi worriedly warned him again and again, and did not leave the airport until the plane Xiao Mianmian was on took off. After he got in the car, he called Wei Zheng. The other side immediately picked up. Mr. Mo. Mo Yesi narrowed his eyes. Let's check which agency Chiao Angzan has signed with. Let's spread the word. Anyone who dares to sign her will be in trouble with Mo. Anyone who dares to use her in the future will also be with Mo Yesi. Mr. Mo can't make it? If you are not afraid of offending Mr. Mo, you don't have to take my words seriously. Yes, Mr. Mo, I understand what you mean. What about the Shen family? Is Shen's stock price still falling? It has not fallen for the time being, but the ones that fell yesterday were enough for them to eat a pot. I checked and found that Shen had problems within the company as early as 3 years ago. Due to poor internal management, the capital chain was broken. Then the funding gap became larger and has never been filled. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1298. Chapter 1298. Suzy, what are you doing? By now, the damage caused has been difficult to make up for. Mo Yesi gently rubbed the black headband on his wrist with one hand. So, yesterday's stock price drop caused a lot of heavy blows to Shen. Yes, it is definitely a heavy blow to Shen. With Shen's current situation, it can last for a month at most. It's also a credit to the fact that the stock price didn't continue to fall today, otherwise it wouldn't be able to last for a month. The Shen Corporation used to be a powerful enterprise comparable to the Mo Corporation. However, in recent years, Mo's has grown bigger and bigger, firmly occupying the position of the industry leader. The Shen family is gradually declining, and its management is getting worse and worse. Up to now, the Shen family is far from being able to compare with the Mo family. Even many newly established medium-sized enterprises have surpassed Shen in terms of strength. Today's Shen family is nothing more than an empty shell that sounds nice. Outsiders still don't know what the situation inside the Shen family has become. By the way, Mr. Mo Wei Zheng paused, waited for a few seconds, and then said, "The Shen family sent someone over just now, saying they wanted to talk to you, Mr. Mo. I rejected them directly." Mo Yesi couldn't help but sneered. "Who has been arranged to come?" "He is the special assistant to Director Shen. Shen wants to talk to me about something and has arranged for an assistant to come over." Mo Yesi laughed again, but there was no smile in his eyes. "I knew Mr. Mo would definitely not meet, so I refused directly." "Well, that's good to say no. Mr. Mo, if someone comes from Shen's side again. If Shen Yunchinj doesn't come here in person, there's no need to see him." "Yes, Mr. Mo. If Director Shen comes over, let him wait for a few hours and then notify me." "Yes." Asterisk. After Chiao Mian arrived in F City, someone arranged by Mo Yesi took her to her previous apartment. Among the people who came to pick her up, there was the new assistant Mo Yesi had found for her. I have to say that Mo Yesi must have put a lot of thought into choosing this assistant. The new assistant is not only a gay, but also a gay with an average appearance and figure, a type that no one in the crowd will take a second look at. The only advantage is probably that he grows taller and stronger. It seems that it can indeed give people a sense of security. "Miss Jiao, this is my mobile phone number. If you have anything, you can call me. I live downstairs from you. My mobile phone is on 24 hours a day." The assistant's name is Aji, a 25-year-old young man. Chiao Mian nodded. Aji helped her carry her luggage into the room, and then left. Chiao Mian packed her luggage for a while, then got up after a nap. Just as she was about to go downstairs to eat, she heard a knock on the door. She thought it was Nana who had arrived. After walking to the door, she opened the door without looking at who was outside. The moment she saw the person standing outside, her expression changed and she reached out to close the door. The people outside moved faster than her, putting a hand on the door to stop her. "Suzy, what are you doing?" Chiao Mian glared at the man outside the door, clenching her cell phone with one hand, ready to call Aji immediately if something went wrong. The person standing outside the door is Suzy. His face was dark, with a layer of anger between his brows and eyes, and he looked at Jiao Mian with an evil look. The Suzy that Jiao Mian had seen before was always a well-dressed, elegant young man. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1299. Chapter 1299. What else do I have to fear? The suit pants are also wrinkled. It had only been less than half a month since I last saw him. But he looks at least 5 years older. If Jiao Mian hadn't known him for many years, she might not have recognized Suzy at all when she saw him like this. After all, in front of her, Suzy had always looked like a gentle young man, as gentle as jade. Jiao Mian, you don't want to see me so much. Seeing her closing the door, Suzy's face darkened, and his eyes seemed to be covered with frost, and his eyes were gloomy. His brows and eyes were filled with anger. Am I a plague to you? Jiao Mian noticed that Suzy was in something wrong, and stared at him with vigilance in her eyes. How did you know I'm here? What are you doing here? Why should I come here? Suzy stared at her with deep eyes for a while, then suddenly laughed. Mian, if I say that I miss you very much, so I want to come over and see you. Do you believe me? Suzy's eyes fell on the delicate and beautiful face of the girl in front of him. He looked at it greedily for a while, and couldn't help but feel a little itchy in his heart. Jiao Mian was the first woman who made his heart flutter. It was also the first girlfriend he made. He still remembered the first time he saw her, when she was only 8 or 9 years old. But the one that has been born is so slim and beautiful. At that time, he felt that she was much more beautiful than the girls around him. Compared with her, the most beautiful girl in their class is just the difference between an ordinary good-looking girl and a little fairy. At that time, he was secretly thinking that he must marry her as his wife when he grows up. Later, she grew up little by little. It is also becoming more and more beautiful and stunning. Of course, more and more people like her. He is among those who like her. Later, he was lucky enough to become her boyfriend. At first, he regarded her as a treasure. If you like a woman, you will naturally want her. He also tried her best, but she rejected her every time. Although it is understandable and I appreciate her self-respect, she will inevitably feel disappointed if she is rejected too many times. So later Jiao Angzhen took the initiative to send it to his door, and he couldn't refuse. Later, she found out about him and Jiao Angzhen, and they broke up. For Suzy, the most regretful thing he felt was that he could not get her once. Even once, he was satisfied. Even though she may not be clean now, he still wants her. Suzy thought of this and squinted his eyes. His gaze on Jiao Mian changed little by little. Jiao Mian's face suddenly darkened when he heard these shameless words. She scolded angrily with a cold face, Suzy, have you forgotten your previous lesson? Believe it or not, you dare to say these shameless words again. I'll make you regret it. I don't care what you are here for. If you leave immediately, I can pretend that nothing happened otherwise. Otherwise, what will you do? Suzy sneered, seemingly not taking her words seriously. Instead of leaving, he took a step forward. He never moved his eyes away from Jiao Mian, staring at her with a bit of greed and unwillingness. Mian, now, do you think I still care about this? I have nothing left. What else do I have to fear? Of. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1300. Chapter 1300. Strong Hatred. You don't want to see me anymore in this life, So you asked that man to take me to country F Chiao Mian Mian, I really never thought you would be so cruel. The Su family treats you well, right? Is this how you repay kindness with enmity? Now my parents are so angry that they were hospitalized because of the acquisition, and my dad is still unconscious. Are you satisfied that you have brought the Su family to this state? I have done something sorry for you, but Dad and Mom, I haven't offended you, right? If you want revenge, just take revenge on me. Why do you want to be so cruel to the Su family? Hearing that Father Su and Mother Su were hospitalized, Chiao Mianmian's expression changed slightly. Uncle Su and Aunt Su are hospitalized. Pretend, keep pretending, Suzy sneered. Don't tell me, you don't know. This is your masterpiece. He stepped forward and reached out to grab Chiao Mianmian's hand. My parents were nice to you before, and treated you like their own daughter. Now that they are hospitalized and sick, should you go and see them? The more Chiao Mian dodges, the more angry Suzy becomes. She just couldn't dodge him. But she didn't know how proactive she was with the man named Mo Yesi. When thinking of this, Suzy felt jealous and resentful. He has known her for 10 years, but he has not been able to get her. But how long have she known the man named Mo Yesi? She handed herself over. At first I thought she was different from those women who worshipped material things and money, but now it seems that they are just the same thing. In this case, she no longer deserves his respect and attention. The combination of jealousy and anger made Suzy completely lose his mind. His eyes were red and he said with a ferocious expression, "Why are you hiding? Why, now I ask you to go see my parents, and you refuse. Chiao Mian, you are so a white-eyed wolf. For a man, you don't even have a conscience." When Suzy's hand reached out to grab her again, Chiao Mian failed to escape and was grabbed by his arm. Suzy pulled her out, trying to take her away. Chiao Mian struggled and said, "Suzy, let me go. What do you want to do? Dad and Mom went to the hospital because of you. You have to go see them." Suzy pulled her out and said harshly, "How much money did the man named Mo give you? He can afford it, I can afford it. Tell me, how much does it cost you? 10 million, 20 million, or 30 million? Although you are no longer clean, I don't mind having fun. After all, we have known each other for 10 years. I also take care of your business." Thinking about the fact that the woman he had been so pure in his heart and had been reluctant to touch for so many years now belonged to someone else, Suzy felt a strong hatred towards Chiao Mian. Bitch. He regarded her as a treasure and thought of wanting her again after marriage. But what about her? She pretended to be pure and inviolable in front of him, but not long after breaking up with him, she fell in love with another man. Since she loves money so much, just spend money to play with her. Chiao Mian listened to the unpleasant words he said and punched his arm twice in anger. "Suzy, let me go." Suzy is now in a completely abnormal state. Chiao Mian could not match his strength as a man, but as a man who had been stimulated. She was dragged towards the elevator entrance by Suzy. No matter how hard she struggled or hit him, it was useless. Just when Chiao Mian took out her mobile phone and wanted to call Aji, several tall people suddenly walked out from the corner. Man in Black. End of this chapter.